let's go. Yay, here we go. I need to change the name of that one because there we go. Posted it. Cool. Awesome. Where are you? There we go. Tam gone. Oh, awesome. Okay. Cool. All right, I better have on Facebook as well. So let me just get on here. There we go. Cool. Good afternoon. Welcome to our after-service chat. And I'm still blacked out, and that is because it's been left on. Just give me a sec. Someone's left it on the wrong one. Yep. Oh no, it should be on there. There we go. Someone pressed the wrong button there as well. Okay, we are now. It will be on set. It's a bit delayed. It's a bit behind us. Welcome. You will have a picture in a moment. There was a button that had been pressed. We'll just wait till the screen goes through. No, something else had been pressed up there, and so it had blanked out the screen. Yep, should be. Are all the screens up on there? Here we go. We're on. We have 2 watchers. Welcome. Probably me, one of them. 3 watchers. I am back. Oh, yeah, see, happened ages ago. So, have you got Facebook up and running, Tam? Oh, awesome. I'll turn mine off. Just let us know if there's any questions. Cool. So, I thought it was really cool. Very good. Emma doesn't like me telling her it's really good sometimes. Some things that came out of when you were speaking, just some thoughts. So when you spoke about compassion, which I love that because Jesus shows compassion more than anything else. It's about had compassion on people. So how can we show compassion to others like Jesus showed? But the other bit was, because I thought it was really interesting, can we have compassion on its own? Because you spoke about that. So just them 2 in that one. So I thought I'd link together.
I think compassion on its own is a bit like when James talks about works without the law and everything else. And so no, it becomes worthless. It becomes just fluff, doesn't it? You know, in order for the compassion to actually have a life-changing effect, I would say that it has to come alongside the way that God wants us to live, right living, and the fact that we are saved by grace and wanting our lives to change and wanting the lives of the people to change. You know, I said, about going back. You know, compassion is the fact that we keep on and we keep on and we keep on. But actually we keep on because there is a desire for someone to actually change. There's a desire for someone to actually come to know God and to want to make those changes in their lives. I think the compassion is the not giving up. And it's also about, I stand next to you. I don't stand above you, looking down on you. It's I'm willing to get in the mud with you, however long it takes to do that walk.
Yeah, no, that's really good, and it does. It makes me think of the guys in our houses, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think of obviously the thing of the smoke alarms on Friday.
Our smoke alarms went off on Friday, and it was great though because when our smoke alarm went off, I was able to say, once I knew what had actually happened, I'm not angry with you because you've now told me the truth.
Yeah.
Don't do it again. But at the same time, if it happens again, I'm still going to stand there and go, don't do it again.
Okay. So, and the thing is, because even if we've got Jesus, even if, and we're showing that compassion, because of the compassion that he's first showed us, if we continually just give, we'll be wiped out. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't matter how much what we're doing. And so that I'm glad that because you really went through a lot of the points in there, which was really cool. Because sometimes we pick something out that we want to go on, don't we? And I thought it was really good. And that whole thing of, Jesus needed to withdraw,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
replenish, whatever, to connect with God. So in that, so what about you? How do you do that?
It's something that, for me, is a daily battle. It always has been. Just having, it doesn't come naturally to me to do quiet, restful withdrawing. Doesn't come naturally at all. I am a get up and do and problem solving, fixing type person, and so it's such a battle, and I mess it up all the time. And there are days when I mess up on having a quiet time, on having that moment of withdrawal, and those are the days that I am absolutely wiped out. I am more stressed, I am more exhausted than on other days. The days when I get it right are the days when I wake up and I grab that moment with God, even if that moment is a harassed short moment with God, with 2 kids jumping on my bed, or I'm running late. The very fact that I've had that moment seems to just ground me in the fact that today is not actually my day, it's God's day. And yeah, that is just the supreme thing. It's that moment when you start the day. And to be really, really honest, there are days when I can spend ages reading my Bible and praying, and it's good. And there are days when it's a snatched moment because we woke up late and we're harassed, and it's everything else. I'd love to sit here and say that I am a 5 o'clock sit down for an entire hour prayer pastor, but I am not. I am. God, have your grace. Speak to me now, please. But you know what? When you get times, and that's one of the real privileges about being able to prepare a word. It's that you have to force yourself to carve out time to sit and study and everything else. And it's beautiful. And I long to actually get that right in my own life. That real proper time. It's my wire. I'm trying to keep my hand really still.
Oh, is it yours? Is that what one it is?
If I keep my hand still, it doesn't buzz.
We know what it is now. We know the noise.
We know
Emma
the
has
noise
found
and
it.
The quiet. So yeah, I think it's just a journey that I'm sure we're all on, and
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm still at the stage of a real wrestling struggle.
Yeah, I only the other day, me and Tam were up in the mornings. We have to get up earlier and earlier to beat the children getting up. And it was really sad this morning because obviously our phones change with the time change. And so my alarm went off at 10 to 6 as it would be normally. And I snoozed it for 10 minutes and then got up. And then when I got up and went downstairs and looked at the coffee maker that Tammy had lovingly prepared last night to go off at 6 o'clock and then realised on the thing was, it's 20 past 5 on that clock. So really, it was even earlier. But that was fine. We just took the clock off and pressed the button. But it was just as we were doing this earlier in the week, actually, with another devotion thing I was doing. And it talked about what matters in that and that time with God. That being in his presence. And I've always struggled with the word quiet time because I'm not a quiet person. So my mind whirs. My mind runs and runs and runs and runs and runs with all sorts of stuff. Church know this by now because I'll come up with something else the following week. And so it's very hard to find the silence for me. Again, when I'm prepping something, all of a sudden my concentration, there is nothing else there, and it's almost this tunnel vision. What's God saying? What does he want me to say? Where are we going? Where's this going? And everything else. And so actually the other morning I just had to go, okay, I'm going to try that as if I was prepping a sermon. I'm just going to sit. I'm not going to ask God anything. I'm not going to go with the shopping list. I'm not going to go with what does this mean. I just wanted to sit there. And for the first time for a long while, everything was quiet. And then I could just hear the birds. And it was, oh my goodness, wow. It was Thursday, actually, before we had the prayer meeting at 7. And there was just this moment of, and I've been trying to redo that for the last few days, and then going, okay, maybe it's not going to be 10 minutes this time. Maybe it's going to be 3. But it's really, it is, because those traits that you spoke of as well, that Jesus had, you know, which he shares with God, actually they don't always come out, because we share them as well, because we're children of God and we're sons and daughters of brothers and sisters of Jesus, co-heirs with him. Our traits sometimes get lost, don't they, if we don't spend that time. So obviously we share them. I just answered my own question there. So, okay, we're going to get on the healing. So let's leave healing to last, actually. Let's do this one first. So, and I know you've probably answered it within other questions, but sometimes people need that specific question. So how can we be like Jesus? How? Because we try, don't we? We want to be like Jesus. But how? How can we? Because obviously he's a hard act to follow, isn't he?
He's a little bit of a hard act to follow, and I don't think we're ever going to get there in this life. But it is that whole grounding, isn't it? It is that whole, the more time you spend with someone, the more they're going to rub off on you.
Yeah.
And it is that simple. And it isn't just about the quiet time. It's about that daily. I spoke to someone when I was interviewing them for a volunteer role, and I was like, what does it look like for you to work with God? And she said, my life is a continual conversation with God. And ever since I heard that, I was like, that's beautiful, because that is it, isn't it? It is the whispers of, oh, what do I say now in this conversation? It is the fact that your default is help me, or guide me, or walk with me, or what would you say in this situation, rather than your default is to solve it and then go to God after. Yeah. And I think it is that continual understanding that every single thing needs to be soaked in God. Yeah. And it isn't a Sunday thing. No. Christian was just saying to me on his way out, you know, the church thing, if we call the church thing 20%, that's probably generous. It's the 80%. It's the 80% that actually has to be about being absolutely soaked with God. And we're going to develop those traits the more time we spend with Jesus. Yeah. And the more time actually we spend around other people who spend time with Jesus, because actually that's a really good way of being influenced. If you spend all your time, it's good to spend time with people that don't know Jesus. Of course it is, otherwise we get shut away. But actually being mentored by people, or rubbing up against people that are maybe that bit further along in your journey, is also going to encourage you to see what those traits look like lived out in a human life.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. It's that almost like that iron sharpens iron thing, isn't it? It's really cool. Okay. Last one.
Go on then.
I've got some thoughts. So why don't people get healed? I think it's a very brave person, a very brave preacher that would stand up here and go, that's why. I think, and it's, you know, I think you're absolutely right. We don't know. You know, we really don't know. You know, apart from the sovereignty of God. Yeah. You know, God, at the end of the day, can do what he wants. You know, in that, you know, it wouldn't be out of his character or anything like that, and we know that and we understand that. But it is purely down to the sovereignty of God. I've heard people say a lack of faith for the prayer. I've heard bad things as well of saying it's the lack of faith for the person receiving prayer. But there's been lots of thousands, probably millions of non-Christians who have been healed by God. Yeah. So that sort of blows that one.
And I think those two things, the reason I can't identify with either of those things is because they don't build up the person that prays
Yeah.
or the person that's being prayed for. And I don't see anywhere else in God's writing that actually it's your failure, it's on you. We live a gospel of grace, a gospel where we do not deserve anything. And we don't, so if we don't deserve to be saved, we don't deserve to be able to pray for healing, but actually it's grace. So we pray under grace. And so I can't identify with those two things because they put the onus on me. You know, and I have really wrestled with this because I've heard this. I've heard, you know, are there special words that you pray? Is it the way you come to something? Is it the authority with which you pray? Is it everything else? And you know what? It's not. It's God.
God.
It's God. And you know what? I am very happy to get to heaven and be told why, and to find out that a preacher that said something.
And you won't even be bothered then?
I won't care at all. And I think actually, I'd rather just be honest and say I don't know why, because actually, I think there's a lot of people sitting there going, I don't know why, and maybe wearing one of those things over their life that says, I can't ever pray for someone because I did and they didn't get healed. Or I will never be healed.
That's
That's
out there. There is
huge.
that is
Of course,
out there.
that's huge.
Come closer. Come up. That's really cool. Yeah, I should have given you the mic really to say
You're
all
going to
that.
have to relay all that now.
Do you want to say it again? Do you want to come? You can come and stand next to me because you're my wife. That's fine. If you can remember all what you just said.
Felt like a little bit of a press conference then. Sorry. Just what you were talking about made me think when we talk about healing and compassion, and what you guys were saying about having quiet time and all that kind of stuff that we've been thinking about, in that changing rhythm. A lot of that is based upon our understanding of living for eternity, that actually when we turn and we face God, our future is set, and it's death is not the end. And so in light of eternity, healing is already promised when we're given a new body and a new, we're renewed completely. So all healing is complete, we know then, in eternity. And I think that sometimes can change our perspective or our hope or our response when healing doesn't happen in the now and in this world. And it also makes sense of a lot of the, well, if God's real, why is this happening kind of stuff. And I think then it can make you also, that eternity mind can make you far more compassionate to those that haven't, I don't want to say enlightened, but those that haven't awoken up to the reality that this isn't it. And so when you're responding to life when this is it, it changes.
Thank you. No, same. A friend of mine who died last year, Mr. Ted, and he, when we lived in Lincoln, myself and Tammy, we at the bridge centre across the road from the church, there we had a one night a month we had like a healing centre going on, and people would come and you'd cup of tea and coffee, and then you could go up and be prayed for, and it was quite nice, quite relaxed and that. And Ted was on the team, and I remember one night, someone who'd come in, I can't remember who it was, someone had come in and they wanted prayer. And so Ted, a couple of others, were laying hands on this guy and they were praying. And the guy didn't get healed. Ted did. So, I think, how does God work? His ways are higher than our ways, but I think, healing it's just such a, you know, you hear the horror stories of the family that saw the online evangelist saying, you know, buy a hanky and I'll send it to you and you'll be healing. And the dad had cancer and was dying of cancer and didn't work. He died. And all they did was send in the hanky back. It wasn't any horrible or anything else. And they got a message back saying maybe you lacked faith, which is just horrendous. And on that note, we'll be coming to an end. But you know what? You know, keep praying. That's all I would say. Keep praying. Keep seeking God for healing. Maybe your healing, and I know this might sound as a cop-out, but it's not. Maybe your healing will come, you know, when you get to heaven. Maybe that's when your healing is, you know. There were other people, and I really hate saying the wrong name. It was Isaac that walked with a limp. No. Jacob. Isaac, God, get me teeth in. Jacob walked with a limp. He wrestled with God, and he had the limp. Paul carried things in his life, all his life. Did they want healing? Probably. I would have thought so. Did healing come? Well, it came in eternity. But yeah, you know, keep praying, keep healing. If you don't know Jesus, because there's healing more than physical healing. There's emotional, spiritual, relational. You know, maybe that's a question or a conversation that we could have. And any of us would love to pray with you. Maybe you could inbox us afterwards or even now, and we'll pick that up and we can have a chat and pray. But you know what? We really hope that not just our Sunday morning, and not just the houses, and not just the van, and not just everything else that we do and are planning to do, and this is helpful. We pray that everything we do shows Jesus to everyone in our daily lives, everything that we do, everything that we say. But thanks for joining us. Thank you this morning for a great word, really was. Yeah, thanks, and we will see you next week. Thank you. Goodbye.